Yogi Bhajan said that basically in Old English, the same word in Old English as in New English is the old word was garb. So this kind of like cloak, this garb of success. And in New English, it's grab. It's interesting. Because his whole point is you have to be the basically the father of your own success. You have to grab the success. And anybody who is successful and has a fulfilling life, it's always the same story. They do something where they're they're taking a risk and they're grabbing the thing, and then over and over again. One year we it's hard to open businesses and create new things and all that stuff. But it's rewarding even if you fail. And one year was a particularly hard year. And Julian, my partner on Rama TV, he for Christmas, he got me a pile of kind of like those types of books. They're like, even if you fail, you're still a good person, like a whole stack of them. It was like, keep going, you're going to make it. Like, it was like those types of books. There were a bunch of Richard Branson books. And one of the Richard Branson, and, good titles. One of the Richard Branson books was like a little thin book that talked about kind of just like his story, how he did what he did. And it was actually really helpful. I was so grateful that he got me these books, because I can't remember what this one was called, but it was like a little thin one where he just talks about kind of the fundamentals of how he built what he built. And he talks about like why he got in a hot air balloon and did all this. Part of how Richard Branson got famous was these, not just the business risk taking, but then he created like these kind of big PR events, these PR stunts around his kind of brand. And one of them was this hot air balloon stunt. Do you guys know about it? Okay. Do you know who Richard Branson is? Okay, good. Because I was talking about Winona Ryder with my team the other day, and they were all like, I was like, okay, never mind. Those moments, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, no problem. She was an actress. So, you have those moments. But so he was just describing basically like the nervous system that is required to not only, do things and take risks, but also kind of what he did with, he got in this hot air balloon. I can't remember all the details. Does somebody know? Did he go across the ocean in it? Or no, he went across the British Isle or something in this hot air balloon, and he almost died, and they got a bunch of press on it. It was one of the ways he kind of became an iconic figure. And then he did I think a boat something. They took like a Virgin Atlantic. Maybe that's even why it was called that. But he did these kind of big nervous. It takes some nervous system strength to do some of these things that he did besides just the business, but building kind of his in his narrative of being this kind of very risk-taking, charismatic icon, basically. And it worked very well. And he said in the early days, he had something, so he quit. The parents let him quit school because he was over that, which is very, very normal, and very, almost every kind of successful type like that has a story similar to this, where they quit high school, or and I was in a meeting with a VC one time, and they were like, yeah, no, we look for people like you who basically have a checkered past. I was like, really interesting. They look for people who are who've quit school, who've not who don't have degrees. Like those are the people who are taking the risks, who know how to do certain things, and those are the Mavericks. And they actually this investment company looks for people with those types of resumes, not the Yale Business School. I thought that was an interesting little piece. They're like, we hardly ever take meetings with people like that. We always take, it's always the Richard Branson profile. It's like somebody who's done a lot in a small amount of time with a small amount of money, kind of, and has a whole kind of maverick way about them. So he was in high school. The parents let him quit school, and he had a magazine called Student Magazine. And in Student Magazine, they interviewed people, and they kind of just had a lot of, they had a lot of, we call it chutzpah. They had a lot of, they were taking risks and asking people and just seeing, what people, if somebody would say yes to an interview with them. So they asked Margaret Thatcher, and I think Margaret Thatcher did say yes, but it may have taken some finessing. But the person who said yes first, that really got them on the map, was what's that guy's name? The lead singer of Rolling Stones. Yeah, that guy. So Mick Jagger said yes to an interview with them. And he, and not only that, but Branson got him to come to the basement of his parents' house for an interview. And so Mick Jagger came and was interviewed by these high school kids, and that was one of their first huge kind of interviews. So then the magazine started to get some popularity, and they were curating and selling music at the back of the magazine that you could order, and it was like a mail order music kind of thing. And that was the beginning of Virgin Records. So, but this idea of grabbing your success, grabbing your happiness, grabbing your prosperity, grabbing your vitality, it's very, very important. And especially like people get all new agey and think that when we talk about radiating or magnetizing, that means that you don't participate in some way. That, we get very passive about these things, but it's actually, it has to be a full-on participation. And that's and when you don't do that, it's a mistake. So that's when you get into the mistake. You've missed a take, right? And that's all that. So this mantra basically, it gets you into the driver's seat of grabbing your own success, so that, and some of us are working on being careful about what we're grabbing. Some of us are working on a little bit more kind of confidence around grabbing. We all have different incarnational things that we brought in that we're good at, or that we're a little bit, that's something that's we're working on. So there, you have some gradient scales of that, but this mantra helps. It's very sticky, so it helps you to know when something is an appropriate opportunity for you, and to have no problem grabbing it and pulling it back into your kind of auric, your what we call orbit, which is your sphere of influence, your aura, your kind of home base, and then grounding it in the aura. So that's a big part of that success too, is holding it, activating it, grabbing it, and then grounding it in the aura. And that part of it is one of the parts that's harder for people, because maybe we've gotten it, or we've grabbed it, but then it's like a hot potato and we don't know what to do with it. And so the really grounding of the success and enjoying it is, and I think Richard Branson's a great example of that too. He grabbed it, he activated it, and he is enjoying it. He doesn't have a problem with his own success. A lot of people have a problem with it, because then they start to get up against like all of the glass ceilings of their, fear of what, people are going to think of them, and just all sorts of stuff like that. So there's, those things, but the grab is a big part of it. And you have to be vibrationally kind of, we'll call it vibrationally fit vibrational fitness. Yogi Bhajan said with the success in business, are you pro fit for this? Which means you're going to be in profit. But if you're not pro fit for this, you're not going to be in profit. And that's going to cause some problems. But he said that's exactly, you're basically training for that so that you can be pro and you can be fit for your success, for your business, for the opportunity, for the good. So that's why we chant the mantra.